Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank y'all for being on the panel today for your testimony and discussion on this. And Mr. Lambert, let's just pick right up there where where I heard you leaving off. I'm concerned about the capability of these vehicles being, much less than it was previously. One example is a manufacturer that has a truck with a advertised range of 240 miles before you hit the load of either a trailer, and actually this is coming from a car dealer who wanted to purchase this but had a kind of a golf cart style trailer, and you put that load on there either with a trailer or with temperature being reduced, and you're talking 25 to 40% reduction in range. And so this is something that I'm worried about. Do you believe that any agency or the administration has thought through the actual impact on transportation? This is a personal use trailer, but on the transportation sector, on our economy,
Congressman, they're looking at numbers and trends, but I fear they're not looking at how people really use these vehicles and what it means for their livelihoods and their lifestyles. It just doesn't seem to work for a lot of people. If they can fix those problems, they won't need a mandate. People will buy these vehicles.
How long have we been talking about electric vehicles in this country? 20 years, 50 years, 80 years, 100 years?
The history of the electric vehicle is tortured through the manufacturing process, but I think in current status, we've been talking about it for maybe a decade to 15 years.
But this is not a new subject.
No.
And if the ranges were such that it made economic sense, then we would be doing it already, and the manufacturers would be doing it. They are for-profit businesses that want to maximize that. So, Mr. Thompson, you referenced that the United States would need to, and I'll quote, more than double its electricity supply by 2050 and build more than 75,000 miles of high-voltage power lines by 2035 to achieve the administration goals. Is that feasible, given what we're given the scale and the timeline of the Biden's EPA mandates and policies?
It certainly doesn't seem feasible within the time horizon we're talking about. And there were, on that same point, there was a question earlier about the cost of charging, and I took the opportunity to look at an article that says that California, their own California Utility Commission, is projecting by 2026 that the price to charge a car could be the equivalent of $8 a gallon, and that the state of California would need to triple their current capacity right now to meet EVs in the state. Triple. Okay, and so I don't even know how you begin to get something like that permitted in that time horizon.
Okay, so we've got this mandate. We go electric. We get to the 2030 or the 2035 or whatever the other markers are, and we get this done. Then what's the EPA going to do on production, on the generation of electricity? And where is it going to come from? I've asked the witness prior on the panel. I know many of you are here. I've asked the Secretary of Energy. There are no answers for where it's going to come from other than a mixture of sources, which to me, we need specifics, and I'll open it up to any of you.
Well, Congressman, what I don't know where it's going to come from, but what I will tell you, and I tell others, is that if we move forward and we lose refining capacity in this country, it's never coming back.
That's right.
The administration came to us last year and said they knew we lost over 1 million barrels a day, and they said, well, turn it back on. It doesn't work that way. When they're gone forever. And this is a national treasure that we have. It gives us security. We should be really, really reluctant to trade that away for dependence on China.
We are trading it away. You see the way Western Europe has gone. Some of the countries have completely turned away from reliable and affordable energy. The Texas grid is right now enduring 110 degree, 115 degree days. It's not, we can't take it for granted. This is a fragile entity that we have, and we have to make sure it's got baseload dispatchable power that is ready to go. And we are trading it away with policies that don't make sense. And they're not realistic. The Secretary of Energy told me that by 2030, if we had the 50% mandate or the different markers, that we would need to double the demand, which is actually quicker than your assessment. I don't necessarily agree with that, although I'll take it because they don't have a plan when it comes to servicing the grid and the baseload demands. So my time has expired. Thank you for your time today. This is a very important discussion. At the end of the day, this is a national security discussion. And if we trade it away and we go the way of some of the countries in Western Europe, we will absolutely be in a more vulnerable place than Ukraine and other countries have been in. Mr.